Are we recording? In 3, 2, 1. Alright guys, Josh Belsamis here, alongside the light heavyweight champion, Carlos Capuano, and alongside the #1 ranked light heavyweight in the CFC, AJ Pritchard. How you guys doing?
I'm doing super fly. What about you, AJ? And yeah.
I'm doing alright. I'm ready.
Alright, so I got some questions to ask you guys. So start off with you, AJ. It's your second 5-rounder. It's your first main event. What's going through your head? You know, knowing it's your first main event. It's one of probably the biggest CFC fights in history. One of the biggest rematches too of all time. What's going through your head right now? What's your mindset going into this fight? And yeah.
To be honest, 3 or 5 rounds, I'll always bring the fight. I'm kind of excited that it's my first main event and in my hometown. Like the first fight we did it in Havana, Cuba, Carlos's backyard, and now we're doing it in Manchester, England, which is my backyard. And it feels nice to be like main event there, and it does feel good.
Right. And then like you said, the first fight was in Havana, Cuba, and there was some distraught in the crowd where the crowd was kind of booing you as you were walking out, like because they know their son Carlos Capuano and Jorge Capuano. That night they were fighting there. The crowd was obviously on their side, and obviously this time it'll be in your backyard of Manchester, England. So yeah, the crowd might switch up. So I'm interested to see how did that play out. All right, now to Carlos. So man, obviously you're a veteran. You're champion. It's your third main event, if I'm not mistaken. Third? No, second main event. Sorry, second main event. It's your third 5-rounder. Obviously you and AJ have similarities to that. What is your mindset going into this fight? Obviously knowing it's going to be in Manchester, England, in AJ's backyard. Yeah, what's your mindset and what are you feeling, man?
I don't know. I'm feeling quite calm, quite ready. Definitely be interested to watch the anime over there, so I'll see how that goes. And yeah, it's going to be a good fight. Hopefully go for another war with AJ. And I know. Let's see if we can bring this belt back to Cuba, I guess.
Right, Carlos. And if you defeat AJ, there's no doubt you're one of the greatest light heavyweights of all time. If not the greatest. Sorry. All right, now on to AJ, my man. Obviously we already know it's gonna be in your backyard. I'm not asking you to say the game plan, but is there a game plan? Is there something you've been working on in your camp leading up to this fight, going in there in the rematch against Carlos? Obviously we know your guys' first fight went 5 rounds. There was a lot to show, a lot to show for Carlos and a lot to show for you. Has there been a specific game plan you have been working on with your team in your camp leading up to this fight for Carlos?
Yes. Basically the plan is to do what I did in the first fight, but better, so I don't lose this time. But apart from that, I've made a few changes. I know Carlos will make a few changes in the fight as well, and I think I'm prepared for that. I'm prepared to come in and take the belt, and I'm pretty sure he's prepared to come in and defend the belt and take it back to Cuba. But apart from that, I'm gonna keep the same game plan, and I'm gonna go for the finish this time if the opportunity's there.
Right. All right, Carlos. Now on to you. Was there a specific game plan for AJ leading up to this, like in your camp leading up to this fight? Is there have you been working with your teammates on an exact game plan on what you're gonna do with AJ in the second fight?
Well, yeah, obviously I've been working with my teammates, but there's no set game plan. I'm just gonna do in there and do what I think is right, because everyone has a game plan going into a fight, but does everyone follow through with that game plan? You know what I mean? So it's like there's no point having a game plan with AJ. He's unpredictable. You don't know what he's gonna do. could come at you with the highlight kick or the wrestling. So I've just got to be prepared with anything.
Right, right. And let's go back to you guys' first fight, all right? So obviously in that first fight, it was very close, back and forth action, and Carlos slipped away with the razor thin decision, against you, AJ. Do you, AJ, see this fight going the distance again and you dominating Carlos or beating him in a decision, or do you see yourself submitting him, knocking him out? How would you like it to play out, or how do you see yourself winning?
To be honest, it's very hard to solve the puzzle that is Carlos Capuano. To be honest, I want to say that I'll get a knockout or a finish, but you never know, because every big strike I throw, he'll keep on moving forward and keep on implementing that jab, just unfazed by the strikes and stuff, and it's just he's good. And there's no doubt about that I am going to get chased down and I am going to get pressured.
Right. Yeah. Obviously. Yeah. Exactly. We know Carlos. When you think of Carlos Capuano, you think of a guy that pressures you until he's pressured guys and make guys look like they don't know what to do because he's putting all the pressure on them, and they just crumble, they fold, and they just kind of fold under his pressure, And AJ, that's something you're gonna have to figure out how to deal with in that fight, because Carlos is not gonna stop. He's just gonna come at you. He's a dog. And now for you, Carlos, obviously, your first fight, you guys' first fight, you beat him by decision. Is there like in your camp? Is there you've been practicing a way to finish AJ? Or is there a way you're gonna finish him? Are you gonna tap him out? Submission? Is it gonna be knockout? Is it gonna be decision? Is it gonna be total domination? What's it gonna be? Like, how do you see yourself winning? How do you see this fight playing out to you to win?
If it were for me to win, I'd have to go for another decision, just because it's AJ, and AJ, you just can't get him out. Really, he's good at surviving. Like his chin is just granite. You'll punch it and your fucking fist will break. Not his chin, your fucking fist. So you're gonna have to. It's gonna have to be a decision for me. I just don't see any other way. Maybe a knockout in round 4 or 5, but that's about it. It'd have to be a decision because AJ is such a tough opponent. Right,
and your guys' first fight, there was a lot of how do you say it? It was kind of anticlimactic because I remember watching the fight. I remember the first round AJ had dropped you, Carlos, and he hurt you bad. And when he dropped you, you were out for a little bit. Like, you went out for a couple seconds, and then he didn't finish you. He because there was about 10 seconds up to the first round. Out of respect, he didn't finish you. And there were times, AJ, where he dropped you bad and didn't finish you. Obviously, in that first fight, there was a lot of respect between both of you. You guys had enough respect to where you guys didn't finish each other. Tell you what, if that were me, I would have finished, but it's you guys. So in the second fight, AJ, as you said, if you knock Carlos down, you're not hesitating, you're going right for the finish, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Carlos, are you gonna, if you knock him down, are you gonna jump right to the finish, or do you want a decision win, or what is that gonna be like?
Most likely I'll show the same respect that he's shown to me. Really, it's just like get what you give, you know what I mean? So, I mean, there's nothing personal about it. Yeah, right. You can jump on me by all means, because a win's a win at the end of the day. I'd do it, so would he. But
right.
Me and AJ are good friends, so I respect him for doing that almost as it's like he's gonna win. He's probably gonna retire soon, so.
Right. As he said, he was gonna jump on you for the finish. If you knock him down, I know I just asked you this asked you this question, but are you gonna jump right to the finish if you knock him down once, even if it may be in the first round? Because knowing that if he knocks you down, he's gonna finish you, are you gonna get him out of there, not even gonna risk that, or, I know as you said, you're gonna you respect him and stuff, and you guys are good friends. But if you do not end up knocking him down early in the first round, are you going to jump right to the finish, or knowing that he would finish you if he knocked you down?
No, because as I say, I want a good fight. I don't want a shitty 30-second fight that's not going to be remembered. I want a good fight that will be remembered. I want it to be one of the best. I aim for that with every fight. I want it to be one of the best fights in the CFC.
Right. And AJ, man, I know no fighter likes to hear this, but if you do lose to Carlos, what is the plan? Are you going to move down a division? Are you going to move up to heavyweight? Are you going to retire? I know you don't like hearing that retirement, but what's the plan if you do end up losing to Carlos?
If I do lose, I'd be happy to retire, to be honest. Like, I've done everything I've wanted. I like the belt, but it's not my main goal. My main goal is to fight in Manchester, really. Like, this is what I want to fight. This is why I fight, for the Manchester crowd, for just the CFC in general. So to be honest, if he does win, then it solidified him as the light heavyweight guy, and I can retire happily knowing that I came second place and I did everything I wanted.
So that would be for sure that AJ Pritchard will retire if he most likely retire if he loses to Carlos on Sunday.
Yes.
And Carlos, what are your thoughts on that, my man? On your friend AJ, if he does end up losing to you, what are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on that?
I'd be good to see him go, but it's his decision. He can come back if he wants to. I'd be happy for him to work it for it one last time, maybe get a trilogy out of it, but it's whatever the president wants, really. But
right, and Carlos, sorry, continue. Sorry to cut you off there, my man.
I don't see it coming back as quick as this one, but it'd definitely be a good trilogy in the future if he did lose and came back and worked up the ranks again. That'd be I'd like to see that from AJ if he ever were to come out of retirement, if he does lose.
Right. And Carlos, I'm gonna ask you the same question. If you do lose to AJ on Sunday at CFC 16 in the main event, if you do end up losing to him, however it may be, you lose to him, what's gonna happen? Are you gonna get the trilogy? Are you gonna move down a division, up a division? Are you gonna retire? What are you gonna do?
Well, I think, anyone in my situation, if they lost, would be to go for the trilogy. Obviously, it's a good. If I were to lose, actually, I wouldn't be that bothered by it, to be honest, because I'd just work and get back to the position that I was in and fight AJ, and it'd be a good fight. It'd be a good trilogy to watch. The Carlos v AJ trilogy, it'd be honestly a good trilogy to watch, and maybe CFC could do a quick edit of all three fights in one, you know what I mean?
Right. And Carlos, man, you've been around the CFC since the very beginning. You fought the very best. You fought Jarrett Hurd. Obviously, you didn't get the results that you wanted early in your career, but you're champion now, and it shows, all the, that hard work, it paid off. AJ kind of came along, not at the very beginning, but he came on, and he's a good fighter too. I respect him. I respect you. You guys are both great fighters. I'm excited to see this fight. I'm excited to see how it plays out. I'm excited to commentate it. I'm sure the fans are very excited to see this fight. Carlos, like I said, I'm pretty sure I've asked you this question before. Obviously it's going to be in Manchester. Do you think the crowd's going to be booing you? Do you feel like that's going to kind of maybe play, mental games with you, where it's going to kind of get to your head a little bit, or, what's that going to be like when you go to AJ's backyard?
All I'm saying is, love me or hate me, but you've still paid to watch me, and you can't deny my unbelievable skill.
Right, exactly. I'm excited to see you guys fight CFC 16. Is there anything you guys like to say to the fans, say to each other right now? Get it out.
Don't boo Carlos.
I I have one thing to say to AJ, and do you want to go for a pint afterwards?
Yeah, why not?
Is that? Do you guys want to say anything to the fans? Anything?
Yeah, I've got something.
Go ahead.
I'm the man of the hour, and I'm too sweet to be sour. What you see is what you get, and what you don't is better yet. I'm the women's pet and the men's regret, and if you go against AJ, you've made a bad bet.
Carlos, your response or anything you'd like to say to the fans?
I'm Carlos Capierino, and I've shit my pants.
Okay. All right. Is that it? Is that it for you guys? Is that all you got to say?
Just the end of the interview.
Yeah, we're about to wrap. If you guys like to say anything else, just
Alright,
anything to
I've
each
got
other.
one direct message for the fans and the fans only.
Go ahead.
This is me and AJ have been thinking about coming out as a long time, but we're actually in a gay relationship.
Okay. Well, guys, that's gonna wrap it up here because the interview is kind of floating off a little bit. Make sure you guys stay tuned. Sunday, the main event, Carlos Capuano, AJ Pritchard won it back for a second time to determine. And if Carlos wins, guys, please put in the comments. You guys think if Carlos beats AJ, he will be cemented as the light heavyweight GOAT and the greatest light heavyweight the CFC's ever seen. And if AJ wins, do you guys see a trilogy happening between these two? Please, like, subscribe. CFC 16, Carlos Capuano versus AJ 2, only live on pay-per-view main event. We will see you Sunday live from Manchester, England. Take care, everyone.